Good morning and welcome to this EveryonePrint 3.4 new features presentation. In this presentation I'll walk through some of the new features that are available in the new version of EveryonePrint 3.4 that we released just a few days ago. These are some of the things that's new. This has been a very exciting release for us, which has been something we've worked on for quite a long time. And when we started to develop some of this, it was more of an idea that we had, and then we started to talk with a few partners and a few customers, and we saw that some of this stuff, especially the Google Cloud Print support that we've added to 3.4, really was something that was a major challenge to solve. So there's been quite a lot of excitement adding some of these new features. And I won't go through all of these, but I'll go through some of the major ones, including the Google Cloud Print, what it is, how it works, the configuration, and then we'll talk about the expanded guest printing support that we now have done for print accounting solutions, and we'll talk about the new feature, the Office Conversion Diagnostics tool, and finally we'll talk about the ability to support multiple networks now with the AirPrint. So those are the four major features that I want to walk through in this presentation. We'll cover some of the others as we go through, and you'll see them in the interface as we progress. Now, the first feature that I want to talk about is the printing via Google Cloud Print, and this is a very exciting feature. And in short, let me jump forward to this slide here. So in essence, the Google Cloud Print is a printing system that Google invented some years ago, and it's actually still in beta today, but it's highly adopted. And basically this makes it possible for a user, typically a home user, a consumer, to take their Android device, or they can be using one of the Google apps, and print directly from those Google apps to a typical home printer that's Google Cloud Print enabled. Without having any driver installation, without doing anything sophisticated. It's simply a matter of clicking print from within the application they use, and it comes out on the printer. Pretty cool technology. This was also included as the way to print within the new generation of Chromebooks. And the Chromebook is basically, for those that don't know, you can see one here on the right. A Chromebook is a very cheap laptop made by a number of different manufacturers. Could be Samsung, Asus, Dell. They make these Chromebooks that are, instead of using a Windows operating system or a Mac, they use the Chrome OS. And in this Chrome OS, you have the Google applications. You have Gmail, you have Google Docs, and you have Google Drive, and you have a fully functional laptop that's really excellent, where you can do word processing, spreadsheets, presentations, and all this kind of stuff, all at a price of around 200-300 euros. You get this kind of laptop. So what we've seen a lot is that universities, higher education, even entire cities, they buy thousands of Chromebooks, and they give them to the students or the pupils so they can use them at the school or university. Now the problem comes is, well, how do you actually print from these Chromebooks? And the method or the way to print is using the Google Cloud Print. And making that connection from Google Cloud Print to whatever existing infrastructure that might be in place in the education customer, that's really difficult to do, if not impossible. Because if you use any kind of authentication, or you use a print accounting or a print management solution, good luck. It's almost impossible to solve this stuff without having EveryonePrint in the middle to make this connection. So I'll go through and do the configuration, and Google Cloud Print is just one of the many ways that you can print in EveryonePrint, and it's optional. So if you install EveryonePrint, there's no requirement to have Google Cloud Print enabled. It's up to you as a customer or a partner if you actually want to turn it on. So I'm going to jump now to the server, and we'll do the actual configuration and testing of this Google Cloud Print feature. So let me switch here for a moment. All right, so now we're looking at the server where we will be installing or using the Google Cloud Print feature. And as you'll see here, actually, we have we're already demonstrating one of the new features, which is the Windows 2012 support. That's new in EveryonePrint 3.4, that we can support this new version. So this is actually just a very plain server where I've ahead of time I've installed a couple of things, just so not to bore you in this presentation. I have configured 3 printers. One is a follow me queue, a dummy queue, to sort of illustrate that we could send print jobs into a follow me queue, a pull print queue. And then I have created 2 direct printers, one called printer 1 and one called printer 2, but of course there could be any number of printers on this server. And on this server as well, I have installed, let me see if I can get it to show here, I have also installed the Office 2013 package. So that's also one of the new things or new features in EveryonePrint 3.4, is that we can support version 2013 and the 64-bit versions of Office. Alright, when you want to install EveryonePrint 3.4, even if you have an old version, it's very easy to upgrade to a new version. All you do is you go to the EveryonePrint website and you click on download, and this will give you this zip file, which always contains the latest version. So you download the zip file and you just run the installer. This is the zip file, which is now missing for some reason, but this is the contents of that zip file, which includes the main installer and the gateway for AirPrint and Android printing, and then the documentation. So to install, you just run the installer as an administrator, and it will update any existing installation, keeping the settings, the licensing, all this stuff will be maintained as you update, and it only takes a couple of minutes to update to a new version. Now, I installed this before, so we didn't waste too much time doing the basic configuration here. So if we go to the admin, I'll just walk through the couple of steps that I did before the presentation. So I imported the devices we have. So I took the 3 printers that we've created on the server and imported them. And then I went to settings and I configured LDAP authentication. So we're connecting to our Active Directory domain controller. So when you log on to the end user interface, you have to sign in as a proper student. So those are the only 2 things that I've done prior to this. So let me walk you through the steps that are involved in actually configuring the Google Cloud Print. For this, I want to show the documentation where we have outlined the steps, and I want to mention the documentation because there are a couple of steps, and if you're not familiar with Google, it's a little easier to get lost. But it is extremely simple to set up, especially if you've done it once. It's just very, very straightforward. So in the documentation, you can search for Google Cloud Print or see this section, and there's an overall explanation of how it works. And then you have the configuration summary. And the steps are, as you can see here, let me scroll down a little bit. First, creating a Google account, and that is any normal Google account. So you could go and sign up for Gmail and you will have your Google account. The second is to enable the Google API access on the Google account. That's the second step, and that's the step that's necessary for EveryonePrint to connect to Google to create printers and all this other stuff. So that's the only real thing that you have to do. And the third is to take the printers you want from EveryonePrint and enable those over in the Google Cloud Print. Because let's say you have 100 printers in EveryonePrint, but there might only be 1 or 5 or 10 that you want to enable for Google Cloud Print. You just register those. And the final step is enabling this public link, so it's actually possible for users, students, guests, and so on to be actually able to access those printers, because without sharing the printers, how would they know that they exist? So that's the final step. And all of this is very easy. It takes only a few minutes to set up, and if you've done it like we have a few times during the testing and development, it's really easy to do. So let's switch over and actually do this setup. So I will assume for this that you already have a Google account. If you don't, there is a simple outline on how you can create an account. It's very easy. And then underneath in the documentation we have a couple of sections, and we have the enabling Google API access using the new Google Cloud Console, and then after this there is using the old Google Cloud Console. And the reason is Google, they have just as we were developing this, they updated the web interface, so it's slightly prettier and slightly different organized. And there are still some countries around the world that uses the old interface, whereas some have already migrated to the new. So we include both user interfaces in the documentation. So pick either one that looks relevant to the one that you're actually using. But to start, you simply go to the Cloud Console in Google, and that is the link here. Now it will, if in this case I'm already signed in with the dummy account that we have created called universityacme@gmail.com. So we signed this account up to do some testing, and as you can see here, I have already done this configuration before, but this I've deleted, so we'll create a new one, but you can ignore this one because you wouldn't have any here. You would just have a button that says create a project. So that's what we'll do. We can call the project pretty much anything we want. So this is just for our internal reference, so we could call this the EveryonePrint Google Printing, for example. This project ID is, you can leave it exactly as it is because it's only for internal reference, so no need to change this. Now if you have not used the Google Cloud Console before, they will ask you for an SMS verification, and this is normal, that they will send you an SMS and then they'll send you a code, and you have to type this into the web interface to verify that you're not a robot. So but since I've already used this account before, I don't get asked for this. Now the second step, so we've created the project, and we have to go to APIs and authentication, and then on registered apps, and here we register the app, and the app in this case is EveryonePrint. So we will say, for example, EveryonePrint, and we will use a native app and click register. And that's it. That's the only thing we have to do in the configuration of the API access. So we have now been given a client ID and a client secret, and those two values we have to supply over in the EveryonePrint configuration. So EveryonePrint will use these two details when it's connecting to the Google account or the Google system. So we jump back to the admin interface, which I've managed to close in the meantime. Let me open it up again here. We'll sign in and we'll go to settings, Google Cloud Print, and here we have to supply the details that we have from our API setup. So first I'll enter the University Acme account, I'll enter the client ID, that was the first one, and the client secret is the second one, and we click on Save Changes. And so now we have EveryonePrint hooked up to the Google Cloud Print system. And the next step is to look at the authentication. Before we register any printers, we should look at how users are actually authenticating with the system. So in this particular setup, we have EveryonePrint configured for LDAP authentication. So you can see, in order to log on and to print, a user would have to sign in with their username and password as it exists in the LDAP directory. So if a user sends a job from their own personal Gmail account, for example, they would not necessarily be known by the LDAP server, because you could have a student who's printing from their own personal Android device or from their Google Docs, for example, and they wouldn't be registered with their own personal Gmail account in the LDAP system. So what we want to do is make sure that this allow self-registration is actually turned on. So that should be turned on, and that we have outgoing email configured, because when a user sends a job from Google Cloud Print and the user is unknown, then EveryonePrint will send an email to the user and tell them, sorry, we don't know who you are, please go to the web interface to register. So you'll see this demonstrated in a moment, but for now I'll just configure the mail server. And we'll say EveryonePrint, and we'll use just a dummy address here. Click Save Changes. Okay, so we have the outgoing mail server configured as well. So the next step is to actually register the printers from EveryonePrint that we want to use over in Google Cloud Print. So we could have any number of printers here, and let's say that we want to have the main Follow Me print queue, that we want to register this one, and that it involves a couple of steps. And these steps are defined by Google. We've just made them simple here in this interface, so it's pretty much just a couple of buttons you have to click. But so first you have to click this register, and that triggers a communication to Google, and then it asks us to authenticate. We have to click this button, authenticate, and all the authentication is that you get this interface and then you have to click this link. That's pretty much it. And thanks, ready to go. And if we click on manage your printers, you can see in a moment, we have a couple of printers here from before. Let me delete these so there's no confusion. Let me delete these couple of printers. They're from a previous demonstration. So you can see I added a printer, the Follow Me print queue. I added it into the system to this account, but it is not appearing yet. Now it did, but because it usually takes 30-60 seconds from when we've actually registered the printer and until it shows up in the Google Cloud Print interface. So that's normal. So you can see here now the printer, this Follow Me printer, says active. And let's take the printer 2 or printer 1, doesn't make any difference. We'll take printer 1, click register, and we'll again have to click authenticate. Click the URL, finish registration. We can go and take a look at the manage your printers to see that it actually shows up, and we can refresh it up here on the right to confirm that it actually appears. It takes about 30 seconds. You can go and register other printers in the meantime, because it'll happen completely automatic in the background. As you can see here, now the printer 1 became active, and in a moment we'll have the printer 2 also become active. It should take a moment. Well, in the meantime, if we go to the Google Cloud Print page and we refresh, you'll see that we now have these printers only for the account University Acme. So we could theoretically print something from our Google account to these printers because we're this user and we now have this printer added to our account. But of course we want to make this available to users that are outside the network or outside of this account. We want to be able to have guests and users and so on be able to print. So what we want to do is actually share this printer with someone. So we can take this first Follow Me printer and we can click on share, and you can see here this printer is private. It's only available to the Acme University account. So we want to change from private to public, so anyone with a link to the printer can print. And remember that even though we change here to anyone with the link has access to the printer, we still have the authentication configured in EveryonePrint. Remember, the print job will go from Google Cloud Print to EveryonePrint and then to the print infrastructure. So if we have LDAP authentication configured in EveryonePrint, the user in the print job will be authenticated before it ever hits a printer. So you can access this, you can make it open to anyone in the entire world, but EveryonePrint will make sure that there are restrictions and validation and so on before we accept the print job. There's also a limit built into Google Cloud Print where you can limit how many pages a user can send per day. But if you're using a print accounting system or a print management system, you would make this basically unlimited, because you would then use the quotas and balances and so on that are actually in the print accounting system. So this shouldn't be controlled on the Google Cloud Print side. So make this unlimited, and you can always restrict it somewhere else. So let's close this, and we'll pick the printer 1. We'll do the same. So anyone with access, and we'll change the quota to unlimited. Okay, so we now have those shared publicly, and over in the EveryonePrint system, we want to take this public link and put it into the printer. So for example, the Follow Me printer, we click here where it says not shared, and there are the instructions that I just did. They are listed here, and if we scroll to the bottom, it says that we have to grab this link and put it in here. So let me do that for the Follow Me printer. We'll copy this link and put it in here. Click Save Changes. So you can see now it's shared. We'll take the printer 1, we'll do the same. And if you don't want to scroll, you can just click this Hide Instructions, because we found that it was kind of annoying that you had to constantly scroll up and down, so we decided to do just a hiding it. We'll copy this and put it in. Alright, shared. So we'll take the last one as well. Let me close this and refresh. We'll have the second printer. Share. Change to anyone with the link. Unlimited. We'll grab the link. And we'll go over and put that in here. Here we go. Okay, so now all the 3 printers are shared. So now let's try and sign in as a as an end user. So if I go to the EveryonePrint user interface, so this is what the student would see. He would sign in with his his LDAP username and his LDAP password. In this case, it's student 1. Excuse me. And we have, this is as usual, the only thing that's new here is the Google Cloud Print button we have, because we have now registered some printers. So these are the instructions that the user will see. And actually, I want to show, while we're here, I want to show another new little feature that we have, and that's the expanded list of languages that we have. So you can see here we've added Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese in the new version. So if you have international students, or if you are in the Asian Pacific region, you now have the new languages for your local markets. But now here are the printers that have actually been added. And as you can see here, we have the Follow Me printer, and these are the ones that we have shared with the public link, so they're available right here to add for the user. So I signed in as a student, student 1, and when I click this link, for example, to add the Follow Me printer, I click Add Printer, it will open up to the Google interface. And here I can sign in as a student, so let's say I'm a student and this is my username and password. You see here, you can add this printer, print to Follow Me, add this printer to my account. So it's been added. So I could go to any application that I have. For example, let's open up docsgoogle.com. So if I'm a user, this is the online spreadsheet word processing application from Google. I could have images, I could have Word documents, whatever it is that I want. I can, so this, for example, is the Google Docs, where I can write stuff. And this is an excellent, simple spreadsheet application. For those of you not familiar with it, it's very cool. You can do real-time collaboration, so you could share this and then have multiple users working in the same document, and you could see multiple people typing at the same time. It's really cool. So with this document open, if I want to print this document, all I have to do is simply click File and Print, and this is all within the Google system, and I have this new Follow Me printer. That's the new one we have added, and I can simply click on Print. So this will send a job, And if I jump back to the EveryonePrint admin interface and I click on monitor, you can see now that the job came in from this user and it's awaiting authentication. We don't know who this user actually is. Is this is it student 1, 2, 3, 4? We don't know. So what has happened now is an email has been sent from EveryonePrint to the user, to this address, asking him to authenticate with the system. So if we go back to the end user interface, we check his Gmail inbox, we should see an email from EveryonePrint. And I wonder if it's happened in a spam folder. Yeah, it did. It ended up in the spam. Wonderful. But this is basically the email that was sent to the user. It says, you send a print job to EveryonePrint. We do not recognize your email address. Da, da, da. To send a print job, please register using the link below. So we click this link and it will open up to the EveryonePrint interface where the user can then sign in with their student username and their password. And now any job coming from this account will automatically go into the system as student 1. So clicking continue here. If we go back to the admin interface, you'll see that the job is now associated with student 1. This was the job title, and now the job has been printed. So if we go to the printer and we look at what was actually printed, we can see the job came into the print queue as the correct student 1, not the Gmail account. And now this could be picked up by any print accounting or a print management solution that does the accounting for the users. And now the next time that the user prints, even if he's adding another printer or if he just wants to print again, you can see that when I print, the job will go directly through the system to the queue that I have selected. So it takes a little bit, print job added, and then in a very short moment we'll see, yep, the second job coming in here to the print queue. There are many other possibilities with authentication. In this example, we set EveryonePrint up for direct printing to the follow me queue, and we have configured the LDAP authentication. But if you had release code printing and all this other stuff, that of course applies also to the Google Cloud Print. But in this exact demonstration, I just have the traditional LDAP authentication and integrating with an accounting solution. But there are many other possibilities. Yeah, that's it for Google Cloud Print. Now I'll go back and we'll talk a little bit about the new guest printing facilities. So now I want to talk about the new expanded integration with some accounting solutions. As you know, we have already deep integration or integration to most of the, or pretty much all the accounting solutions out there. So when you send a print job from a mobile device or through EveryonePrint, we can send the job into the accounting solution so it gets properly accounted, and the rules and balances and all this stuff, follow me printing, all of that stuff works. But something we've begun to do much more of is to have the deeper integration with accounting solutions, and to, for example, do the stuff that you see here on the screen, which is to support guest printing together with authenticated printing with a print management solution. So the actual integration that we have with the accounting solutions vary a little bit depending on the accounting solution that you might use. So as I write here on the bottom, contact support@everyoneprint.com for details for the accounting solution you might use. So today we have pCounter, EcoTrack, Streamline NX, and we have many others in the pipeline that we will be supporting more deeply. But contact us at support@everyoneprint.com and we can supply the details. If you're a reseller and you have multiple solutions, let us know and we'll be happy to provide the guides for it. We have both presentation and guides for all this stuff. But the basic concept is, if you're an employee, you would print as you would normally. You would send a job from your iPad, your email client, your laptop, whatever it is. It would go into EveryonePrint, and the job would be authenticated and sent through EveryonePrint into the accounting solution as normal. So you'd send your job, you'd go to the MFP, and you would release it as you would normally. With the new feature, when a guest sends a job, so in this case they will be sending a job from their iPhone in this case, we look in EveryonePrint and see, oh, the user is not already here. So we would create an account inside of the accounting solution, and then send back an email to the user with their newly created username and password. So then the guest user, could walk to the MFP of their choice and release a job just alongside any employee or similar. So let me switch to the server again, and I'll show you this in slightly more detail. We'll walk through one of the examples. So let me switch to the server real quick. So back on the server, on this server I have installed pCounter, but that's only for demonstration purposes. It could be any of the accounting solutions that we support the integration with. I've also put the guides for the integration, and that includes both a brief presentation here in PDF that talks about the normal printing. So this is a normal employee sending a job from their mobile or laptop, goes to EveryonePrint, then it goes into the pull print or follow me queue of the accounting solution, and then the user can walk to the MFP of their choice and release it on the MFP, just as they would normally. There's nothing new here. But then if you're a guest or a visitor, temporary user, you would send a job, and we would create a user account over in the accounting solution, send back the email with the username and password, the PIN that's been created. The job is forwarded on to the follow me or the pull queue, and then the user can walk to the MFP of their choice and log on as with the new username and the password, the PIN code that was created in the accounting solution. So they get the full follow me, you have full accounting, you have full security, and all of this stuff with this very simple integration. And in the separate documentation, the guide, we have what's actually the technical stuff for arranging or enabling these, the requirements, the features, and so on. And to turn it on, it's actually very, very simple, and I will demonstrate this now. And this involves opening up the EveryonePrint installation directory. Here is the install directory, and we have this file called eop.xml. We open this up in Notepad, and we want to find an entry. It's described in the documentation. I know it's something with addition, so I'll search for this, and we see addition with accounting, and then it says other here. We want to change this to, in this case, because we use pCounter, we can switch it to pCounter. If it was one of the others, you would write, for example, EchoTrack or Streamline or similar, depending on the integration you have done. Then you click Save, and we must restart the EveryonePrint web service. So we'll do that quickly here. Services. Go to the EveryonePrint web service and restart it. And when we restart it, then when it comes up again, you'll see that there are some new features available in the administration interface. So if we go to settings here and user authentication, we now have some new choices here. Authentication via pCounter in this case, and underneath we have the new options. So this talks about how should EveryonePrint behave when it gets emails or Google Cloud Print jobs from unknown senders. So this is the usual option, this one called allow user self-registration, but this one is the new one. So if we select unknown senders are guests, create a guest account in pCounter and send welcome email with the created username and password. So let's try and send the job via email and see what actually happens. Here we have our test email that we're going to send to our test account. We'll click send, and if we go to the monitor, here's a previous attempt that was incorrect, so we'll wait for the new email coming in here. It's coming in, awaiting processing. You can see now there's something here that's new, and that is the username is now 995814. So a user account was actually now created, and this will have been emailed to the user, which I'll show you the email in a moment, and the email has been as a command to the system. We've created an account over in the accounting solution, in this case pCounter, so let me open that up. We can take a look. So here's a previous test that we've done, but here is the new user. You can see here this was created over in the system 995814, and there's also a password, and this has been now sent to the user. So if I check in my email, I now have the email also containing the username and the password. So I could take, so any job that I now send from now on from the same address, it will go into the system with the same username. I don't get multiple accounts. We check and make sure that the user for that particular address, they only get one account. So for example, if I go to users, you can see that this is the account with this username. So we know that the next time that a job comes from this address, we'll give it the same username and so on. And now I could walk as a user, I could walk to the MFP and I could log on to the MFP using the embedded terminal on the device, for example, and sign in with the username, password, the PIN, and release my print jobs. So that's the expanded guest configuration. So make sure you can email support@everyoneprint.com, and you can let us know what accounting solution you use, and we'll supply the documentation necessary. If you are a partner or a reseller of EveryonePrint, you can go to the partner website. I'll show you this is on everyoneprint.com. If you scroll to the bottom, you will have a partner section called partner login. And here you can simply, there's a wonderful little buck here, EOP partner and the password. And in this website, we have the partner downloads, where we have all the guides for the different accounting solutions. And we'll be adding more as we make the support. If you are a partner or a reseller, you can simply email us and we will provide the username and password for this interface. So now the final thing that I want to cover is the new feature of the Office Diagnostics tool. That's not the last thing. I have two more things that I want to show. So this is the Office Diagnostics tool. That's the other feature that I want to show. So in the past, when you installed EveryonePrint and you had a server with a restrictive permission model, maybe you had a group policy that was kind of restricted for some users, you could be experiencing some conversion errors. And that was something that was a little bit difficult to troubleshoot for a non-technical person. So this became a little more difficult when we went to Windows 2012, because they made the permission model in 2012 much more aggressive. So even in our development, we got tired of having to troubleshoot this stuff all the time. So we made a lot of changes, and then we also introduced this diagnostics tool, which makes it a lot easier to confirm that stuff works. And if it doesn't work, what do you actually do? So if you go to the general settings in EveryonePrint, so just click on settings and you scroll down, you will have this document conversion tests. And if we click on this, we have today 6 tests. They test the docx, XLS, and so on. You can check the ones you want to confirm, and then you simply run conversion tests. And what will happen is that we will, in the background, we will do the necessary or the normal conversion as we would normally and confirm that it actually works. In this case, it does, so great news. If it didn't work, you would get a red box and you would get an error message. And the error message would vary depending on, of course, on the error. And sometimes it might not be very friendly. It could be some cryptic error message. And you can either email support if you don't know what it is, or you can check in the documentation, where we have included a new section that we call the Office Troubleshooting. So it's at the end. Let me find the section here. So troubleshooting Microsoft Office conversion. So if you go to that one, there's a description on the tests that we're doing. And then you have the steps from 2 all the way to 8 or 9, I think, steps that you can do to eliminate these kind of errors that you get. This last part, the 8, change the DCOM permissions for Office programs. That's really, this solves a lot of issues in Windows 2012. So if you have problems with Office 2013 and Windows 2012, jump to the number 8, change DCOM permissions for Office programs, and run through this with the permissions, because likely that could be the issue. And if you have any problems with this, don't hesitate to email support@everyoneprint.com. So the last thing that I want to show in version 3.4 of EveryonePrint is how we can support multiple networks with AirPrint. So in the previous version, if you had, this is a view of a common customer configuration where you have one network with some EveryonePrint servers, and you have your print servers and printers and so on. And then you would have some separate networks containing your Wi-Fi devices, your iOS, your Android-based devices. And if you had multiple networks, you would have to previously set up one EveryonePrint mobile gateway for each of these networks, which was slightly complex. But in the new version, of the mobile gateway, we can support multiple networks from just one gateway. So this makes it a lot easier if you have let's say a corporate network and you have a Wi-Fi network for each floor, or if you have a campus with multiple Wi-Fi networks and so on. This is considerably more easy to configure. Now, let me demonstrate this by jumping back on the server. So on the server, I have added multiple networks. So let me see if I can get Windows to show this. So view networks. So you can see I have attached multiple virtual network cards to this VMware server. One could be the internal network, and that's where we have the print servers and the printers, and we have other network cards here that could simulate being the Wi-Fi network for the iOS and Android devices. And what we want to do is run the installer for the mobile gateway. This is the normal, that was the same as in the previous one. And once this has been installed, we'll click finish here, and we'll find the admin web page. That's the login for, or the link to the mobile gateway, admin and EOP. And here we see how we can publish to multiple networks simply by holding down the control key and selecting multiple networks. So now when we click save, EveryonePrint will take the printers, the gateway will take the printers that are registered in the EveryonePrint system and then announce them to these network connections. And also a change in the new version of the gateway is that it's not necessary to restart the gateway. You can simply just choose a new network and click save. In the previous version, you had to restart the gateway after changing the network, but that's something new. And that's the final feature that I want to walk through in this. But there are quite a few other features in the version. For example, it's now possible to just upload text files. There's no need to have a Office installed to convert text files. We have the multiple languages in the admin, so if you're a French speaking or German speaking, you can now appreciate the configuration interface in the language of your choice simply by clicking the flags up here.